Shalom and welcome to this week's installation of a Bisseleh Torah. Miketz is the Torah reading that we're looking at this week, the Parsha, and it tells a story at the outset of Pharaoh having two dreams, powerful dreams that leave him sleepless, anxious, and wanting to know what in fact the import of those dreams are. You remember them. One is a dream where Joseph, who's ultimately pulled out of the pit, the dungeons of Egypt, interprets correctly as 7 years of famine, and the other one represents 7 years of plenty. And the 7 years of plenty obviously precede the years of famine, and Joseph is wise enough to be able to orchestrate putting away food so that the Egyptians would not starve during the years of famine. Safat Emet, who was a commentator and a Kabbalist who lived at the end of the 19th century, made the observation that it is so easy to get swallowed up, to use the metaphor from the dreams, swallowed up by the evil things that occur, for us to become drowned in a sea of anxiety and evil. For evil and good coexist. To this, he brings us back to the beginning of time, at the very outset of the book of Genesis, where light and dark are intermingled. It's as if neither can exist independently of one another. So what God does is he separates the light from the darkness, creating them as separate entities. This, perhaps, is an example of how evil and good no longer are commingled but exist independently of one another. That light can dispel darkness, and darkness, if we give permission, can overcome the light. Evil does exist, and excellence and good does exist as well. It's our job, as best we can, to ferret out the sparks of light that adhere even in bad things, and to bring them into a greater understanding, to use even the bad things that happen to us as opportunities of growth and of learning. It's this lesson that Adam HaRishon, learns after he's expelled from the garden. He learns on the ground how to find and redeem himself and redeem the world after his actions of eating the true fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Which brings us to the Parsha, back to the Torah portion that we're reading this week. So Joseph is able to separate out the strata from each other and bring about a greater understanding of how to bring light to darkness. And what more opportune time to bring this story to the fore than as we observe the holiday of Hanukkah, where we understand that darkness, especially during these very short days when so much dark suffuses the world, both literal as well as metaphoric, suffuses the world, and we light tiny wicks to dispel the darkness. How much does it take? If you close all the lights in a room and then you light a single match, suddenly the darkness no longer exists. Even with a tiny flame, you've done something incredible by dismissing the darkness, which is why we light the candles on Hanukkah in ascending order to bring greater and greater light with each passing day, as a message to our heart and to our soul that we have the ability to be able to ferret out light from dark, extrapolate good from evil. This is our task. Life is not a gift where everything is going to be rosy and good, but with enough belief, enough faith, and enough work, we can bring greater light to ourselves and to the world, as Joseph redeems himself in Egypt, as the Maccabees redeemed their era and their time, and as we will, even this evening, lighting those small Hanukkah candles, bring redemption to ourselves and greater possibility of redemption to the world. Shabbat Shalom.